There we go.
What do you see, the people?
Here. It should be connecting very soon. Okay, there we go. So we are live. Hello, friends. And so we have here, this is the chat. So welcome. Hello to I guess it's August now. Crazy. Wow, both of our hair is like so curly today. It's really humid and hot here. And we have gotten a lot of sun. It's like crazy. But yeah, welcome to the Live Creatively Wildly Roam, all the different things. Podcast, no. Oh my gosh, I'm like sunstroke. Live stream. It's really exciting to have you here. We are a tad early, a minute or two early, but I saw that there were 7 people already here, so I figured why not just start. I can type something here too. Welcome to the August live stream. And then this is here, Lou. This is the chat. Hi, Nellie. How are you?
Hello.
Love that. Nellie's Nerdy Adventures. And yeah, we are in our boat, as we always are. And we're really excited to hang out with you guys. We have a bunch of questions, which is awesome. I feel like it's always fun to like have questions before the live stream starts, because then we can actually like talk about things that people are interested in. I always wonder, I'm like, I hope we're like talking about the things that people actually want to hear about. So we have 12 questions.
Elizabeth Berry is here.
Oh, hey, how are you? Oh, it's so nice to see you in the chat. Oh, this is so awesome. We're really excited, and if you guys have like any like specific things that you want us to talk about, just like put them in the chat, and then that will make it really fun. And Hugo's here too. Hello from Switzerland. Wow, that's awesome. I love hearing where people are like,
It's so cool,
like
isn't it?
tuning in from, because it's like such a crazy experience to be like, it's as if we're all, hanging out in our couch in the boat, but then to think that somebody's in Switzerland is just like, it's really like a miracle. Oh, Anne's here too. Ooh, the storm. Yeah, we could get started with the storm. You want to do that?
That's good, because I feel like people you can like get info about that in the podcast too. And,
Or no, and it was the newsletter too, so that's a good one to start with.
Yeah.
Hey, Anne from Quebec.
Whoa.
That's so sick. It's like it blows my mind. And just so crazy to think that like some of these places we might end up going in the boat one day.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, so why don't we run you through what happened with the storm? That was so crazy. And Wendy's here. 105. Oh my gosh. Ooh. That's brutal. That's like sounds like Athens last year in the van.
Athens was 105. That was I think our first day in the van. That was 105 degrees.
Yeah, and we were melting. Like my brain wasn't even working anymore. I feel like
it was so hot.
That's I think when Lou and I realized we were like, this is the first time in our life like we've got our fill of heat.
Yeah.
Like we're such like sun people and like love the beach and love like swimming and love being outside in the heat and always like felt like we never got enough sun. And then last summer, I was like, yep, I've had my fill.
Yeah,
like,
I still feel that way now.
Yeah, and now I feel like it's like I feel satiated to like a different. I'm sure my body just like got vitamin D or something, which had been lacking for decades. But this is so fun. David, hey, how are you from the UK? You have never seen that. Oh, I'm so happy you're here. So many. It's so fun to hear how people stumbled upon our channel too. And we have Patreon, yeah. Normal here, but you wouldn't have wanted the van without air conditioning. Yeah, the van was like a metal box that just was a sauna in that heat. It was wild. Oh, I love the Patreon live streams. It's so fun to like chat with you guys and interact in a different medium.
Yeah, it's wild,
right? It's so cool. Okay, so back to the storm. Sorry, you also we'll tell the story and then you read the comments, because otherwise your brain is gonna be like boop, boop, boop. Oh, hello from Barcelona.
Oh. I
wonder how you pronounce that. A Catalan friend of ours. Mako, that's how I used to call you. Mako. Yeah, we met in Barcelona. I don't know if you know that, but that was where Lou and I met 9 years ago, I guess it is now.
Yeah.
And Lou's birthday is coming up, actually September 1st, and that was like our first like like we kind of like each other. It was on Lou's birthday. We'd known each other for like maybe like what 5 days or something like that. Yeah. And then the rest is history. But yeah, Barcelona will always have a special place in our heart. And Lou is like obsessed with FC Barcelona, who's actually just watching little clips of Messi scoring goals. Nothing new here, you know.
We have Emily.
Emily from Arizona. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy you joined. That's
No,
amazing.
Emma.
Oh, Emma. Yeah, sorry. Emma La Caverna.
Wait, oh no, it is Emily.
Wait, yeah.
Yeah. But her
Emily.
name is Emma.
Emma and Emily. Interesting. Yes, we're so excited to have you here. And Crystal's here. It's your first live stream too.
Lots of new people.
Wait, that's so fun. Michigan. Oh, that's fun. Jessica's here. Vanessa from Jersey City. I hope you guys handled the storm okay too. I heard New Jersey got it really bad. Crystal from Oklahoma.
Isn't that where your grandma?
That's where my mom's mom grew up, and that's like where my great grandmother lived. Pretty wild. Did not get to meet her, but I've heard stories of Oklahoma. And Shelly's here too. Hello from Charlotte. 95 with a heat advisory. Yeah, I think we've been getting 95s here a lot. But it's like it's fine because we have the water, so we can always everything's relative, you know. In the van, we were stuck in a metal box and sometimes not even near water, and so then we'd just be sweating so much all day. And then here, it is really hot and humid, but we can always just jump in the water. Lou is so distracted reading. Oh my gosh. Oh, Hugo, I'm so happy. This is so fun. Lacavera. That's how you pronounce the last name. Lacavera. Beautiful. We survived okay. A lot of power cuts and down trees in the area. Yeah, my family, like, I grew up in Connecticut. My mom was sending me photos of just so many trees down, and one of my other friends who still lives there, her power, like Trisha's power has been out for 4 days.
Yeah.
Crazy. My 5-year-old just got so excited to hear you say my name. Hey, Shelly, what's your 5-year-old's name? We'll say hello to them too. But yeah, so the storm. The storm came on Tuesday, and we probably heard that there was like a real storm coming on Saturday when we were helping.
It's so funny because I have this like Hurricanes Pro app that I've been like using to like check up on the hurricanes, and I saw that there was a hurricane like a week and a half ago, and I was like keeping an eye on it, and then I think it got downgraded to a tropical storm, and I was like, oh, nothing's happening. Like, I stopped watching it, and then on Saturday, I think Mike told us, right?
Yeah, because Mike was like, so what are you guys doing for the storm? And I was like, he just said storm, and I was like, what storm? He was like, there's a hurricane coming. Oh my god, you guys are so. This is one of the guys from the boatyard who we've been helping. Like, we were helping him with his boat, and he was more helping us with our stuff. But yeah, that was a very funny moment of just like, hey, what are you talking about? What do we need to do? And then basically a million different people came by the boat to make sure we were okay and what we were doing to plan and how we should do it. And then ultimately, the previous owner, who we're like still really like in touch with, and he's so lovely.
Yeah,
like we're like, that was such a good call that we bought the boat from somebody who's like a very like seasoned boater who was just upgrading, so he's still in the area, and who like used to teach kids to sail, so he's like very invested like in having like the boat be taken care of and for us to learn and get confidence and all that stuff. Anyway, he called us on Monday night as we were preparing for like to weather the storm where we currently are, which is kind of exposed in a way. Like it's not it's not a very protected harbor, but there is
depending on where the wind comes from.
Yeah, and then there's a bridge, and on the other side is extremely protected. And he actually ended up with a mooring there, and so he was like, "You guys should take my mooring. I'm not on it. I'm on a different mooring." And then in my head, I was like, "Oh, that means we have to go through the bridge again. I don't want to do that."
Yeah.
And so then in my head, I was like, "Oh man, should we do it? Should we not do it?" And then we went over to check out his mooring, and we looked at it, and we were like, "Okay, this like would work." And then we talked to a different person who's the only other liveaboard in this side of in this harbor. And so we went by to be like, so how are you preparing for the storm? And we told them about that. We had the offer for the other mooring to go on the other side of the bridge. We're like, oh my gosh, you guys have to take it. Like, do not stay on this side. Like, why? If I had an offer like that, I would be there in a heartbeat. So then we were like, okay, it's good practice. Let's do it. And it was.
Yeah, it was Yeah, it was worth it too. It was
Yeah.
so much flatter on like the other side of the bridge, and like one of our friends from the boatyard took us out during the height of the storm to come see like what our old spot was like, and it was like the waves where we were like I don't know, like 6 feet maybe.
I don't really know how to judge.
But
It was
like
it felt like a roller coaster, and
yeah,
I was
the
holding
boats were
on
like
very
really
tightly to the motorboat.
yeah.
And it was like pelting rain, and we got soaked. It was actually like quite refreshing.
It was fun.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was like what we did for the storm, and so to prepare for the storm, like we did want to take a lot of precautions. One, because we had no idea what was going to happen, like how intense the storm was. Like some people were like, it's going to be 70-mile gusts. Then the app was like apps of wind apps that we have were saying like 30 miles an hour, consistent winds. And we were kind of like, we've never been in a big storm, so we don't really know. And so we decided that um, we would prepare as if it was a hurricane. And so that, like, you want to run them through what we did?
Yeah, I've just been like reading the things.
I know, it's like so hard. So to prepare for the storm, we took a lot of rope and we like tied our front, the jib sheet, and then we also tied down the main sheet and its
Cinching.
no like sail cover.
Yeah, the whole idea is like this. Even though there's like everything, all of the sails are tied down on the boat. There's like little pockets where air can get in, and it can like rip stuff open. Like zippers can open, and even like stitching can get opened if you have like 70-mile-per-hour wind going into like a hole in the fabric or something. So basically, you just like wrap it in a ton of rope, and that way, even if something opens, there's this big rope holding everything down.
Yeah, especially with something like the jib sheet, which is like this front sail that you have. That's kind of we have ours on what's called a furling, roller furling, and so if a sheet got somehow loose, like the whole sheet could open, and so we didn't want that to happen. And then also just your canvas material, if that can like get just if it's going around a lot of vibration, like it can wear it out and hurt your sails and stuff. So we wrapped all that stuff down. We took everything that could fly away down. We took down the bimini.
We took down our flexible solar panels.
And then we just waited it out, and it turned out to be like really, I think, the perfect level storm for the first storm. Mm-hmm. Like, it was comfortable. We were in a safe place, and we did get to practice, and I feel like we'll be much better for next time.
Yeah, it was like definitely intense, and it's like I think it was more scary just thinking about like a bigger storm. Like this storm wasn't in any way scary, but like it was big enough that you were like, if this happened out in the ocean and it was like twice as big,
I'd be scared. If this hit in the middle of the night and I'm sailing and I'm on night watch and then that thing rolls in, I'm like, so it definitely like I feel like was a good humbling experience of like you need to figure stuff out. Lauren's joining from Boston. That's amazing. Since you were an OD, just became a Patreon. Oh, I'm so happy you're here. And Hugo asked, where are you guys now? So we're actually in Massachusetts. We're not too far from you, Lauren, in Boston. And we are in a harbor. It's like right near where we bought the boat. And we really love it here. Like,
it's so nice.
It's been amazing. If anybody else is like joining just now and isn't totally like up to speed, it's just Lou and I. Now David is left like the Wild We Roam team and is doing his own thing. So it's just the two of us. If anybody like didn't know that and was wondering where David is, I need to write next week's newsletter to update like all of the newsletter people, and then I need to slowly content will come out, because we're delayed. Like we have an edit delay. I think we're 4 weeks delayed or something like that. So slowly like videos will come out and then you'll find out there. But you guys get the scoop. I don't know if you guys can ask questions if you have any questions, but I did not know that. Sorry. I think because I put out a podcast maybe last week. And that one I made for all Patreon tiers. So if you guys want to hear like about that, it's available to everybody just because I thought that everybody should know what is going on that. But yeah, so Dave is happy. He's doing his own thing. It just didn't like really work out. He didn't really like video editing, and that is our job. And so after all of this time together, it just a few different things didn't pan out, but we love him dearly and we're really excited for him to go figure out what he wants to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's been great. And yeah, I don't know. That's a little update on that. But where was I? I'm not sure.
The storm.
The storm. And then it was all over by 7:30 at night.
Yeah, it lasted I think like 4 or 5 hours here, and then it was like sunny again, and as if like nothing had happened.
It was so weird.
It was strange.
And it was like not that rainy of a storm. It was mainly just wind, which
It
I
almost
thought
didn't
also
rain
was
at all.
strange.
Yeah.
You know? And then people are saying like, no, like we get a lot of windstorms here. It's like, what? So yeah, we're learning new things, and we survived the storm, and we learned that if we're here in October still, that they call it the October surprises when the nor'easters blow through here and real storms come in. So we're not really sure. Like we're probably, I just saw that Hugo asked what we're going to be doing for the rest of August, and I think that we are here. We've like extended our mooring here through October, just because like there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, there's so much like boat projects.
So many boat projects. We also don't know anything about sailing, so we have to get up to speed. Lou's also doing all of our editing.
You should tell them the big news.
Oh yeah, you should say it.
No,
I like it when you explain it. It makes me embarrassed.
Yeah.
So, we have decided that I am the captain now. Which is awesome, and I'm really, really enjoying it. I think we made that decision, 5 days ago?
Yeah.
Or something like that. Basically right before the bridge, I think. Or not, was it in the storm?
It was before the storm.
Right before the storm, maybe.
Yeah.
Sunday, Monday. I think it was literally Monday, because we went out sailing with Mike on Saturday, so...
Yeah.
We probably made the decision on Monday, like 5 days.
Yeah.
That I'm going to be the captain of the boat, which is really exciting, and I feel like it just like balanced out everything. We did talk a lot about that in the podcast yesterday for those of you guys that are on that level, but we can like recap it a little bit now because it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And I feel like there's so many things that went into it, like logistically, like it just makes a lot of sense. Lou has a lot on his plate, and I feel like I want to like learn more so that I feel safer, because like I'm more cautious than Lou is. Like my safety tolerance is like I need to feel very safe, and whereas Lou's like, man, like we'll be okay. And so I feel like that part of it is really nice because it allows me to be like, I can learn all these things. And that's kind of like how I deal with things, is like, if I feel like anything, I like to like learn about it. And then that calms me down. And so that part's really good. What other parts are good?
I don't know. It's like really cute. I like wake up every morning at like 7, and Dana's been like awake since like 5 in the morning in the kitchen, just reading like all sorts of different books.
Yeah.
I feel like when you like decided you were going to be captain, you just like jumped into it, and you're like, well, I would have been preparing for this for like years.
Yeah.
And now you're just like reading like hours and hours every day, and like Googling and watching tutorials, and
it's like so fun. And I do feel like a little bit like, oh man, I should have like been preparing up for this like earlier, but at the same time it was really cool to like jump in head first and be like, okay, like I'm just gonna like go at this at my own pace that I feel comfortable at. Lou's amazing, like such a good crew member, because I feel like you're really good at communicating. So like that part, like when we were going through the bridge, like back to the storm, like it was like very interesting because it's like I assumed that the bridge would open like straight, and so like it's like a drawbridge, or no, it's like a spinning bridge, so it's like a big road, and then it turns, and then I thought it would have two channels, two straight channels. And so I was getting the boat ready to go through like straight into the channel, and then the bridge just goes like, and it just doesn't fully open, and then Lou's like, hard to starboard, and like I know what that means, and we like made it through easy. But I thought that like it's very like it's good skills for both of us.
Yeah, I think it's like we make a good team this way.
Yeah, and so that's been really fun. And what else? Like I think that like it is funny, like with the whole gender roles, like a female captain out of like a male-female couple is like basically non-existent out here.
Yeah.
And that kind of makes me feel special. Okay, so what else is going on in the chat? We got a lot of stuff happening. What's the rest of our plan? So stay here, learn to sail. That's our plan for August, and get the boat ready. We have like fix the toilet because that has some issues. We have to we want to get salt water through the boat, like not sink the boat. Let me clarify. We want a faucet in our kitchen with salt water coming out of it because I want to do dishes with salt water. And right now I'm doing those dishes in a bucket because we have no fresh water aboard, minus the jerry can that we've been drinking water out of, because we also need to dock the boat. That's another thing on the to-do list, learn how to dock the boat in August so that we can refill our water tank. Put a shower on
An outdoor shower.
an outdoor shower on the stern arch. Though we do have that cockpit shower, so like maybe we should just try that before we do the other thing. No? Okay, cool. So yeah, and then we have radar that we want to install. We have a lot of projects. And we have moved since Dave left. We moved to the aft cabin, and so we're sleeping back there, which has been much better.
So we went from the front of the boat to the back of the boat.
Yes, front of the boat very bouncy, back of the boat way less bouncy, and more space, and also just like really special. I feel like there's no computers in there, there's no stuff in there.
It's awesome.
And then we just go to a different area of our home.
It doesn't get as much wind, I think, as the front of the boat, but you're also like outside of the kitchen and the bathroom, so it feels much cleaner, I think.
And my mom got us these awesome like rechargeable fans that we found. Like we just charge them during the day, and then we put them in our room and turn them on for sleeping, and works like a charm.
Yeah.
What else is going on?
Are you still looking for an extra hand?
But Julie Wolf is here. That's awesome. Hey Julie, how are you in the Wolf Pack? I hope you guys are great. Thanks for joining today. It was great that he was there for you getting. It was great, and it was like a really amazing learning experience for all of us, and a special thing to just get to spend time with people as adults, because we've all matured and changed and become grown-ups far apart. We were living abroad for 5 years, and David's 5 years younger than us, so it was definitely really cool, and I'm grateful for it. And I'm also grateful to get this opportunity to be the captain, because it means I get to take ownership of this experience, and it's really made me realize how important the experience is to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I couldn't really sink my teeth into it before. I don't know why, a mental block. There was nothing stopping me.
Yeah.
But now I really feel deeply connected to it, and that is good for everybody.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Okay.
Have you gotten your captain's license, Dana? We were actually just talking about this, right before the live stream started. And I think we're both going to try and get our 50-ton master captain's license in, a year and a half to 2 years.
You have to have 360 days underway. So, actually moving the boat for at least 4 hours. So, for a day to count of those 360, it has to be 4 hours out in the water. And so we have 4. So we gotta slowly get those days, and there's no rush. You can, weirdly, in America, this was I think somebody's question, we have to go through those other questions too, but was do you guys need a license to have this boat? In Germany we need X, Y, and Z, and it's of course in Germany you need all those things, but no, in America they let you buy the boat and just take it out with nothing. So we have a 35-foot boat, and this is the first boat that Lou and I have ever driven. So it's been quite...
It's fun.
It's an adrenaline rush.
Odie was good preparation though.
For you.
Yeah.
I have
I want to try driving.
Yeah, we can do it when we get out there. Why don't you try?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can take the helm.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Even though I'm captain, it doesn't mean that I'm the only helms person and Lou's the only crew person. All of those things will rotate. It's just that it's on me to be responsible for the boat. It's on me to figure out where we're going. On me to manage that. Check the weather.
Check the tides.
Yeah, all of that. I have this book. It's amazing. So whenever we're going out, I have this book. And then you have these tide charts. Can't see. It's basically a lot of information. And then you find out what day it is, and then you check what tide you are by your location. So we go to the Newport, Rhode Island page, and then our tides are 30 minutes delayed from that. And so then you can check high tide or low tide. And for the bridge, we really needed to be going when the current was flowing into the bay, because you don't want to get... This is, I guess, who cares about this? But yeah, this book, very good. And yeah, I think just little things like that. But it's also losing charge of the engine and the electricity.
Yeah.
So you have it's like there are too many
There's
things
yeah.
on the plates. So that's why I thought that it made sense, and I still have a lot of things to learn.
I feel like the whole like idea behind it came like one of our friends at the boatyard took us sailing in exchange for like us working on his boat. We like helped him paint his boat for a couple days, and then he took us out for like a crash course sailing. And he used to be a tugboat captain. He's done like sailed massive sailboats all over the world, and
Yeah.
has just like a lifetime of experience on the water. And he took us out for our very first like sail alone. And as we were like going to get ready, he was like, "Okay, Lou, you're on the front of the boat. You're going to be picking up the mooring, and Dana, you're driving."
And I
And
was like,
we had like completely, we had been like planning on doing exactly the opposite because that's just like the normal way.
that's what you see. We just kind of like mirrored how other people were doing it.
Yeah. And he was like, "No, no, no. Like, you want the strongest person to be picking up the mooring because it's kind of just like a brute job, and Dana's going to be behind the wheel." And we're like, and that kind of got our brains going, like, "Oh, like it doesn't need to be like I don't need to be the captain.
Yeah.
You can be the captain." And he's like, "On like your boat, everyone needs to know how to do every job."
And he wasn't even talking about captaining at
No,
all.
he's just
He
like,
was
you
just
just
like,
each have to know how to do everything.
yeah.
You know, and I feel like that's like the new approach.
Yeah, that is our goal, like for sure, that we both feel safe and feel comfortable doing all the jobs. And yeah, it's like I'm very excited about it.
Yeah.
And I think it's really cool that you want me to be the captain.
Yeah, but so there's like a couple years of like just actual like training on our own that goes into it, and then you also have to do like a CPR course and take a couple classes. But I think it's like it's mainly on you to do it, and you just have to like buy the books, read them, study, and then take the exam. I think there's even a drug test.
Yeah, we just don't have enough hours on the water yet to get a license.
Yeah, and there's like a smaller license I looked into a while ago called like the 6-pack license, which we could eventually do.
Yeah, but it also still needs the 360 days.
Yeah, so
it's basically all of them require this 360 days on the water, and then 90 of them have to be within the last 3 years. And then it just depends on how hard you want to take the test. That's it.
Yeah, so I think we'll take like the maximum level we can.
We can, yeah, why not? But
so that's what goes into being a captain.
Captain Dana, nice ring to it. Greetings from Portland. Hey, Alex, how are you? Thank you, Crystal. Oh, this is so fun. Where? Whoa.
Emma still thinks David is here.
Where is Emma? How's your brother liking boat life so far? I know you guys have experience, but it must be so new for him. Yeah, I think you just must have come to the live stream a little late. We just were saying how David isn't with Wild We Roam anymore. He went home, I guess it was 2 weeks ago. No, 3 weeks ago. It just made more sense. He like after, trying it, giving it, the real college try, he realized that like this like lifestyle and the like balance of work and play and the living in close quarters and not enjoying video editing, it just made more sense for him to figure out what he really wants to do. I feel like when he turned 25, it was kind of like, oh wow, I'm 25. His birthday was recently, and was like, I need to figure out what I want to be my passion. And we were like, definitely go for it, because it's like if you're not thriving here, then like we aren't thriving, and that's just it. Really, like it is all okay, and we agree with the decision.
Yeah.
So that's that. At one, did we miss those? Shelly said, I signed up with Patreon too. I'm in it for my Odie sticker. Seriously though, I'm so excited to be a tiny part. I have an Odie sticker right here. And there's new ones too coming your way. Look at that one. And these are all the new ones. Oh my gosh, what can I do? There's more. And what's going on?
Mutually clarified for Emma.
Oh, good. At what point do you have to commit to moving the boat south? You could have a third join you in the crew to accomplish it. Yeah, actually, Elizabeth, we've been thinking about that too. We're not exactly sure like what our plan is. I think that the main two options for people going south is that you either take the ICW, which is basically a boat highway that goes down the whole coast of America, the whole east coast of America, that you get in around New Jersey, and then you can take it all the way down to Florida.
I think it officially starts in Virginia.
Virginia, right?
Yeah,
like at the
mile
Chesapeake.
0.
Yeah, but you can kind of like get in and out through Jersey. I think that's one option, and that's like a lot more like focusing on docking, on moorings, on bridges, on traffic, on all of that stuff. But people find it safer because you're not offshore. You're always within a reach of a marina. You're always in reach of like having a tugboat come save you, or if you need a mechanic. All of that stuff is like you're not ever far away. So that part is safer. And then the other option is to go from here and go to Bermuda and then go down to the Virgin Islands. That honestly has a lot of appeal for us because it's the offshore sailing is like what we want to do, but obviously we aren't so experienced yet. We've sailed 4 times, so it sounds crazy, but we do have friends here who are boat captains that we could talk to and see if they're open to coming. But right now we're kind of like putting all future plans on pause, and we're kind of just like we don't need to worry about that right now. All we need to do is focus on doing as much as we can. Like all we can do is try to keep the channel afloat, try to learn how to sail, and that is like to like all the hours in the day that we have. And so I think we're kind of like we'll play it by ear and see where we're at the end of August, and then we can like kind of regroup and be like, what plan looks good. If we are going to do the offshore route, we need new rigging and new sails, so those are obviously really big expenses, but we have to make them at some point because the boat is it doesn't like it needs new stuff because the sails and rigging are all over 10 years old, and it's like that's too old. So we're mulling it all over. We talk about it
every day,
incessantly. But I like to like think about my future, and I like to know what's happening. And especially now that I'm the captain, I want to know the plan so I know that what we're focusing on. But like for example, like this week, the previous owner said he would take us out sailing and like show us how to anchor properly on the boat, show us how to do all these things. And it's like with each of these lessons with people who are so skilled, I feel like that gives us a chance to feel more confident. We also like one of the other guys said that he would be willing to take us out and do heavy weather sailing like later in September when it gets really, really choppy and windy out there. He was like, yeah, like let's go out and get you guys ready and like show you how to heave to, show you how to use a storm maker, like make sure you know how to reef your sails properly, like all those things. So it's like like we don't really know. I think we don't know what's possible of how prepared we could get. So right now we're kind of like we don't need to have a plan. We can just see where we're at and then decide what we want to do from there. But all options are any option you could possibly think of is on the table, and we debate them all the time, right?
Yeah.
What's the first voyage plan? Where do you put the boat in the winter south? Oh yeah, so yeah, the dream is to one day make it to the Caribbean. That's the goal at some point, but the real focus is just to learn how to sail. Love that you're the captain. Thanks, Vanessa. Oh, I'm so happy that you guys are all here. It's so cool. You guys really are a part of our family. I feel like this like Patreon, like it touches my heart so much. Isn't it the
awesome.
coolest thing?
It's really cool.
It's just like I think for us, like it's sometimes like hard to like engage with like a video. Like I mean, we make them and we love them, but it's also like that's a special experience for us.
Yeah.
Like we have this like special, like we love making things together, and it's like this creative bond that we have. But the Patreon, I feel like is so special because it's like it makes me have a bond with you. Like on YouTube, it's like too hard to have that like individualized like feeling like wow, we made a little family. I feel safe to like talk about whatever we want to and like share random little bits and pieces, and it's like yeah, it's just like turned out to be so much better than I could even have expected. And I don't think I realized that like sometimes I had a guard up with YouTube, and with this I can just be like, blah! And it's like, who cares? What else is going on? Oh, I care. It's so interesting. Thanks. We could do like once we know more about sailing, I can explain all of the books to you guys in a silly little video if you guys are interested in that. Are you still looking for an extra hand on the boat, or do you want to just try for the two of us? We're definitely going to just be the two of us for a long time. That's the plan.
I think we would need a bigger boat if we ever. I don't think we would even if we got a bigger boat. I don't think we would have it with someone else.
Lou and I like to we just like work so well together, and we like our space, and like our job is just really interesting, and I think it's like
it can
it's
be
so personal and it's nonstop. Like it's just our life. So, but that we love,
Yeah.
and we have figured out a way that like we talk about it all the time, and it's like there's no work life balance because like this we are doing what we love, and the only work life balance is like, oh, I'm very tired today. I don't want to do anything, and that happens like once a month
once
or
a month.
something like that.
Yeah.
And then we're like, we're a little tired. Maybe we should just do chores and not do anything related to like work. But it's like I think for you and I, it just works so well because our schedule and everything that we do is just like this constant undulation of like change. Like it's like you put a plan in our Google Calendar and then it shifts completely, and that is okay for us. Like we somehow like can like whatever telepathy or something like communicate, and obviously sometimes it doesn't work out. Like this morning or one day it was like, aren't we sailing? And I'm like, no, we're not sailing today. I thought we talked about that yesterday morning. But it's like our plans are changing so much right now that it is
literally like every day,
hour by hour. But yeah, so no, I think just the two of us for a long time. Maybe a dog. Oh my gosh, but not for a long time. I just joined Beverly. Hey, how are you? Congrats on getting the water. Is your brother still part of the crew? Nope. We just were talking about that. David is no longer part of the crew, but he wishes us all the best. I have to go because it's really late early here, but thank you so much for joining us, Hugo. I'm so happy. And she loved Inktober and Portugal. How are you guys balancing the balance of channel editing, creating, and the newness of learning the giant skill?
That's the question right there.
That is the $1,000,000 question.
Yeah, I feel like that's part of the reason you're captain. You know, that's
100%. It was just
so
like
much work.
It's so much work. There's so much. There was just. It felt like honestly, like we couldn't keep our heads like up. Like
show people the books you have.
Yeah, like it just felt like we were.
Each of these books would take like a month to read if you.
We have so many.
So we have this one.
This is a good one. This one's a really good one.
This one.
The previous owner just gave us this one. And that's just the books we keep out here for reading. We have a whole
like
another bookshelf. More of that. Oh, this one's a good one.
Yeah.
The big textbooks. I like mine. I think the one that you're using as a keyboard stand is one of my favorites. It's not for lack of books. That's for sure. Oh, goodness. But yeah, so it's like we don't have enough time, but at the same time, I think that that's like the main thing with the two of us is like we just keep telling ourselves like there's no need to rush. Like there's no need to rush our life away. We just need to take our time and everything will fall into place the way that it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like why stress ourselves out? Like we're just doing the best we can.
Yeah.
You know? Like you're editing so much. You're creating these amazing videos. We're trying to like bank content. We're seeing if we can actually get another editor potentially. That would be awesome and like take some of the burden off of you. But it's tricky, like editing our stories. It's so personal. Like you can't just like give that stuff to anybody and trust them with like our life. And so we have to like find the right person, and that's tricky. But yeah, so like the balance of it all, I think, is sometimes daunting because I want to be like, we just need to focus on sailing. Like, if we're gonna try to go do this big thing, we just need time to like press pause and focus on sailing for 2 months. Yeah. But the thing is, it's like we love making videos so much that when we do anything that's like fun or cool, we're like, we have to film it. Like even like literally anything because it's just like it's such a part of our process. Like. I think it's weird. It's part of our learning process. Like everything, like we just, I cherish like working with you, really. Are you just reading all this stuff?
Yeah.
Have you seen Sailing Uma channel? I don't think so. They didn't have experience either and learned while they go.
I think a lot of the big YouTube channels started like. I think La Vaga started, like, they didn't really know what they were doing either.
I think the thing is, it's like, nope, you all start from somewhere, and a lot of that is nowhere, you know? Like, but I think...
Delos, I think, started with experience.
Yeah, they definitely did. But I think the thing is, it's like, the other issue is that we are starting in New England, and we want to get south, and that's a very hard like it's not
Our
an easy
first passage could be like our most difficult one.
Yeah, and it's like people get really bad storms in Bermuda. Like it could be really like advanced sailing experience. Whereas like if you started in Florida or something like that, you could have like the warm water. Like going in like November in water here, it's like you're in like foul weather gear. It could be a snowstorm. Like it's no joke. So we're just like this place is awesome, but it's also like challenging.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
What is going on? Have you seen your relationship with Bond is really inspirational. Being able to work the way you guys do together all the time, being creatively in tune is amazing. We're very lucky, and I feel like we also like I feel like are very honest with each other and both like work on ourselves a lot. I think that helps a lot.
Of, like, learning.
Like yeah, and being like open and yeah, you're great. Great books. How do you two unwind with the constant work that you're putting into creating content and sailing, working on the boat?
What about that one?
I don't know. We jump in the water.
We do jump in the water. That helps a lot.
Like really like a shock.
Yeah.
And fun. And I feel like
I think like sailing will feel like unwinding pretty soon.
Honestly, sometimes like filming days help us unwind.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
Because we're just like having a great like the filming days. Like we have really big, crazy fun days, and like it's like a balance. Obviously, like you can't have that every day.
Yeah. And then you like are tired a little bit afterwards, and then like trying to edit after filming like all of the day before is always like a bit of a struggle.
We also love eating. Feel like I'm like when we have dinner I'm like yeah I just like honestly I think we unwind appreciating little things like when I lay down at night I'm like we talk to each other like this is so nice to be laying down to go to sleep and like I mean it I'm so tired and I'm so grateful to be going to bed right now and like weird things like that and like we can also unwind by like just sitting and watching the sunset on the deck.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I think we just build in little moments of our day. But we probably could get better at it.
Yeah.
Right?
I think so. I feel like swimming off the boat would be like a really fun way of unwinding, but the water's like not so nice here. It's like
in a harbor.
Really murky and it's kind of a little bit dirty, so
we still just, like, use it as our shower though.
We still jump in every day, but it's not like you don't want to like frolic about, you know.
Yeah. But yeah. I mean, we listen to Swell, our audiobook. That's fun.
That's fun.
And that's like the most of it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What else is going on? Uma did the Caribbean first. Yeah, I think that's great. I'm a high school teacher and I've used your videos as examples in class. That's so cool. Thank you, Shelly. Excellent, sounds great. Music, interesting, but they did an electric motor with no diesel. That's really cool. That's like takes a lot of electrical power. We were looking into having an electrical on our dinghy, and it's just like we don't have enough battery bank right now. Or money. Yeah, they're stupid expensive. Creative editing, genuine connected public speaking skills. You have inspired so many. That's so cool that you could use them to like work with your students.
In like a class, like a English class in like Japan or something.
Oh yeah, in a language school in South Korea. Like last year, like reached out to us, and then they like wanted to use our videos for their like language school, and I was like, just watch them on YouTube, you know, like they're free, and they're like, we want to put them in our platform, we want to buy them from you, and we won't ever put them anywhere, and like I was like, sure, if you want to give us like I think they gave us $300. Like you can have 3 videos, like go for it, put it in your little thingy. Google Captain Kate McHugh, the first woman captain of a mega cruise ship. I actually was, because I was talking with the previous owner's wife about how like I'm so excited to be the captain, and she mentioned her, and she also mentioned this woman named Tanya who like sailed a female crew in the Golden Globe race, and we should watch this documentary. We have not seen it. It's called Maiden, and I saw it, and you can rent it. And
then there's another one
called Maiden Voyage. That's about the young girl who we watched this winter, which was so good. So I'm really trying to like get like stories of female empowerment, and it's really awesome that you're so on board. I think it's really cool. Gone with the Winds didn't have any experience when they started. They've been sailing for 4 years now. They did have some videos when they did sailing school. Yeah, sailing school. Honestly, I've been watching so many YouTube sailing schools, and it's super, super helpful. I found this one called Nautilus that I really like. If anyone else is like wants information, yes, the Winds and Vagabond have catamarans, so yeah, it's different than the monohull for sure. Yeah,
I
they have.
think La Vagabond started on the monohull though.
Yeah, they did. But
Yeah.
now, like, a lot of their tutorials are like docking a catamaran, and that has two different engines. It's like not like how we can do it, but it's still so cool. And I just think it's amazing. Like, all these people are just like out there making content, trying to learn new things, and being on a boat is like very like you have to know a lot of things if you're going to go offshore.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be a mechanic, you have to be a plumber, you have to be an electrician, you have to be like a weatherman, sailor, obviously, and so many other things, and you know, a therapist, a chef, you know, laundry person, everything. So it's like really, I feel like just making this little floating home functional makes me really excited. Um, if you could go back and have a conversation with your high school self, what advice would you give? Oh my gosh, I have a lot of advice for my high school self. One of those things would be to like fall in love with myself first before falling in love with other people. Because I think when you fall in love with other people before you fall in love with yourself, it puts you in a very vulnerable state of like you lose touch with like even determining your own dreams in life, if that makes sense. Like I think that that should be something that's really, really cultivated. I think it's already cultivated, honestly, a lot of times with guys, but like in young women, especially, like you are so amazing and so awesome, and just be patient and figure out what you want out of life, and like don't, I don't know, don't be so focused on like what other people think. Like, who cares? Figure out what you think about your own life and your own self, and like and meditate. I would do that. Tell myself to meditate early. I would tell myself
I
to
would do
meditation,
daily meditation.
and I would say like find like your thing. Like I think that like finding my creative side like in my 20s like just opened my mind like completely to like the world. And it's like if I had been exploring that creativity at a younger age, I think that I would have been more secure in who I was. I also think in high school, which I think like from like talking to like kids who are younger, I think people are like being a lot more open about like mental health stuff, which I think is amazing. But like talk to your friends about things. Like if you're insecure about something, like open up. If you're having issues, like talk to people. And so instead like of just bottling things up and having them come out in like unhealthy behaviors like binge drinking or something like that, like yeah, I would like tell myself to journal, I would tell myself to meditate, so many things.
Yeah.
Like, you know, start doing your own research. Like it's not just school that can teach you, you can learn on your own. What about that?
There's something.
You know, oh, growth mindset. You are not like predetermined, you can be whoever you want to be and learn whatever you want to learn. Yeah, maybe watch some TED Talks. Angela Duckworth's Grit TED Talk. Carol Dweck's Growth Mindset. What else?
The Brene Brown Netflix special.
Yes, watch the Brene Brown Netflix special. That's awesome. That's what I would say. And I would say give myself a big hug and be like, you're awesome, you're great, it's gonna get better. I still had a great time in high school, don't get me wrong. I had too much fun, probably. But the inner side, the inner self, you'll be okay. What else is going on? I can tell that you guys are loving this right now that you're on the boat. You're so smiling and laughing. Not that you weren't before. Oh my gosh, we are in a much better place though.
It's so much better.
It's like I feel like sometimes we're like hysterical, like hysterically like happy.
Yeah.
Because it's just like we worked so hard to get here, and I just look around and I'm like, I can't believe I own this boat. Like we bought this.
Yeah.
We made this happen, and you guys made it happen for us, and let us keep doing this and like live creatively. Like this is just live creatively. Yeah. That's the book. It's just all around us, and it's like, honestly, it's hard to comprehend sometimes.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm just like, you know, I'm just so happy here, just stuck on the mooring.
That's
you know,
fun.
like some of the boatyard guys will come over like, you You guys, like, aren't you, like, bored? You're just in the harbor all the time. Like, you don't even know how happy I am to have a home that's mine with my husband. And, yeah, we have waterfront property.
Yeah, that's great.
So, yes, it's true. We are doing way, way better. The build was daunting. It was cold and hard and a lot going on. And it's much nicer now. It's summertime. What else is going? I have complete faith that you will become great sailors in time. Thank you, Beverly. I teach theater and broadcasting. Oh, that's so cool. Well, you've already got like a cool, like creative, eclectic bunch with you. I'm sure they're in touch with their souls. Which kind of video editing software do you use? Blue?
We use Avid Media Composer. It's kind of more of like a professional level editing software. They use it like mainly for feature films. I think it's like the #1 feature film video editing software. But when I was working in New York City at the production company, that's the one they use. So I thought like, let's just do that one because I didn't know how to use it, but I'd kind of seen what they were doing. So I was like, that looks like a good program. And that was kind of before Adobe became so good with their cloud.
Yeah.
Because I know like most people use Premiere.
That's what I use to edit the Creative Corner videos, which is like the $5 art tier and up on Patreon. And it's very easy and smooth, but we also, like, when we got started, we thought we were gonna want to like make narrative film or like documentary film or something like that. So that's why we went that route. And then we didn't even know about YouTube. We were like kind of oblivious. So I feel like if you had gotten started now, I think Premiere is like a very good option because you already get the Creative Cloud. You need it for Photoshop and for those in Lightroom and stuff. So I wouldn't recommend somebody get Avid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would definitely start with Premiere, though I think Avid is actually better.
I'm sure, but like
Premiere is a lot easier, and it's like you can do all of the same things that Avid can do. It can actually do a lot more.
And it like interacts with After Effects for animation so easily, and it's like a much more like manageable program because it's just much more intuitive than Avid, and I think it works great. Honestly, that's my take on it.
I think it works good for small projects. I think if you have a really big project,
because like Lou edits everything in 4K, and that's like so much, and then he's pulling in so much footage, and Avid is like a beast, so it makes more sense for you.
Yeah.
But it depends on your like the file sizes and all of that. But let's see.
Alex.
How are you keeping up with it? I'm gonna go work. See you later, Emma. The blog Sailing Ruby Rose with a couple really good videos, tools, and spares they carry on board. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, one of the guys here, the mechanic, he said he's going to come aboard and he's going to tell us every spare part that we need. And then he's also going to sit down and we can film him as he explains how to install all of them on our engine and stuff. So, like, this is how you switch this thing. This is how you switch this thing. This is how you switch this thing. And then this way, if we're ever stuck in the middle of the ocean, we can just, like, turn it on. It'll be like Mike being like, and now to switch your alternator belt, and then da-da-da-da-da. So
and like he was like, you can just call me on your sat phone, like from anywhere in the world, and I'll walk you through how to fix the problem.
They're like truly like too kind to us. It's amazing. Alex says, what kind of superstitions have you guys been learning about? Anything for people around the docks? I feel like boats are very superstitious places.
We broke the superstition with renaming the boat.
And not drinking the champagne.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Honestly, people haven't said anything.
No.
No superstitions. Have you heard any?
No.
I feel like we haven't really heard anything. We did change the name of the boat, but everybody here has been changing names of the boat. And then the other thing is, like, we did, like, the whole, like, christening thing of, like, break champagne and then pour it into the ocean. But then we don't drink champagne. So we just had, what did we have? Seltzer?
Yeah.
And this was when Dave was still with us on the boat. He had some of the champagne. And that was that. And it was fun, but yeah, we're not drinking right now, so we can't drink the champagne. Who is the author of the Swell audiobook? It's Captain Liz Clark, and it's absolutely amazing. Oh, she uses the Grit TED Talks as her first activity with them.
That's such a good TED Talk.
I love that. Oh, that's awesome. How often do you have to fill up with fresh water for rinsing after sea bathing? Do you have to take the boat in? Well, funny question. We have not been rinsing with fresh water. We are very dirty right now. We have not showered in fresh water in weeks, but for some reason we're okay. We're clean enough.
Yeah, I think it's been like almost a month now since we ran
Yeah.
out of water.
Yeah, so that's the other thing. So we ran out of water, and we've been meaning to dock the boat, but I wanted to get a lot of like some motoring under my belt before we docked the boat. And then one of our other friends was like, "Oh, maybe I could give you a lesson in docking." And we're like, "That sounds amazing. Please do that." But I also don't really know like how to balance like these guys are busy. They're working. This is their real job. So when people are like, "Oh, I'd love to do that with you," I don't know. Like I don't want to like text them and be like, "So, you know how you said you'd like help us dock? We're out of water still. Want to come do that?" Because like they're busy. So we went out what now 4 times. We've driven the boat, and I do feel prepared. I studied so much about docking, and I think that we can do it. And we were gonna do it yesterday when we came back because it was a really calm morning, and like the fuel dock was like we were going the right way, and it was just gonna be easy. But then when we got there were already 2 boats, and there's only 3 spots, and the middle one was available. And I was like, I am not parallel parking this boat for the first time to get water. We have jerry cans, like two 22-liter jugs, and I just go over and fill them up at the yacht club's fuel dock, and they just let me get the water for free. I think they think we are members there, but we are not. And they're like, "Oh, do you want to put it on your number?" I'm like, "Oh, cash will be okay. Let's just do that instead when I buy ice there and stuff." Like, whatever. And so I just been filling up our like things there. So I think I've gone what like 5 times.
Yeah.
Oh, like a lot of times. So yeah.
Monday, I think we're gonna go dock, right?
Yeah, Monday we're gonna go dock. We're not gonna sail again tomorrow. It's like it's so busy. This harbor is really busy, and so there's a lot of sailboats out there. There's a lot of power boats out there on the weekends, and so we're kind of just focusing our sailing adventures on Monday through Friday, and I think that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Until we get a bit more confident, but it's like I don't want to be in somebody's way. I also it's like kind of like last time when we came in when we sailed on Friday, we were coming into our mooring and we had the power boat behind us, and it's like boats don't have blinkers, and then I'm like, what do I do? Now I know how to like make the boat stop and just stay in place, but at that point we didn't. And so it just makes a lot more sense to like go during the week when it's calmer. And so Monday we're gonna hopefully dock for the first time, and then we can fill up our water tank. And I do this time kind of want to go through it a bit faster so that we have to dock again in like a week, because I think that the more practice we have, even though every time is like a huge adrenaline rush, I think it's like we just have to keep doing it and it will get better.
And like the more you use your freshwater tank, the cleaner it becomes.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
And that's actually a project that we're going to be starting soon, is that we want to put like filters through our water lines. Like Lou got chlorine filters, and then we can add chlorine to the tank. And so then it's like you put the chlorine in the tank, hopefully that kills anything in there. Then the chlorine filter takes the chlorine out, and then hopefully it's drinkable. And then we drink with these, so they have a filter inside them. And then because we just want to drink the tap water here, because it's too much of a hassle, you know?
Yeah, to go buy water is like expensive and time consuming.
And then you like have all this plastic, and it's like, what am I supposed to do with all this plastic water bottles? And then we have the jerry cans, which are it's a great option.
Yeah.
And then it keeps it like separate from like what's in our tank, which is like a little bit of like weird slimy stuff. So we always have that option too.
Yeah.
You know? Wintering on the boat there in your harbor and a little fireplace on board. You never know. We don't know what the plan is, but that, you know,
we do know that like we have a couple friends who have like spent the winter on boats in this harbor, and the water freezes.
Yeah,
like the ocean freezes, and your boat gets frozen in, and you need to like heat it to make sure it doesn't like get hurt.
It's like a whole thing, but it's definitely an option. The only thing is, like, we would probably want to be working on the boat. So I don't know if we want to be in the harbor because they don't let people work on the boats there. It's like I don't know, too noisy or something. So I'm not sure. We'll figure something out for sure. And once we figure it out, we will let you guys know. Why don't boats have blinkers? I know, that's what I was saying.
Have blinkers.
I think they should have blinkers too. I'm like, and then who did we say that to? Somebody, and they were like, "What are you talking about? One of these boaters." I'm like, I don't know where people are going. It's like, I want to be, and they're like, "You always can point." I'm like, but like, you were like, and then it's like far away, they can't see you. They don't know if you're like hailing them or not, you know, like.
Yeah.
Even today when I was going to get the ice, like there were so much boat traffic coming in. I was like, I felt like it was like double Dutch. I'm like, well, when do I go in this dinghy? Our dinghy is so slow, and there's like boat, and then I'm like, oh, I'm going for it. And then I just wanted to be like then at the fuel dock, I was like going to park, and there was like 4 boats on it and boats waiting to go in. And then I was like, where should I put the dinghy? And then I thought that this guy was coming in, and he was coming in so slow. And then I was like, what do I do? And then I just like went behind, and then I took somebody's slip. And then I was like, what if the guy comes back? It's a whole thing. You don't know where the boats are going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that, I think we are up to date with, oh my gosh, freezing water. I think get a captain and sail down south, maybe Key West at least, so you can stay on board and keep sailing. Next boat project, blinkers. Yeah, we have like thought about all the options. So getting a captain to captain us all the way down to Florida would be like what?
Probably like $10,000.
More than that. I bet it'd be like 15 grand. Like, it's no joke. So that is too expensive for us. It's just like, because I feel like that doesn't like, that's just like money that goes away.
Yeah.
You know, we have so many things that we need to buy for the boat. And then they're like, you put the money in, and it's like, yes, it's sad to spend the money, but at least you have something for it. And it's like, granted, if you had a captain take you all the way to Florida, you'd probably learn a lot. But then you're sharing your space with somebody for like, it's like 3 weeks it would take us to get down to Florida.
I think we could definitely do the ICW on our own.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there's like so many options. No, so expensive. I didn't know it would be so much. Yeah. Because the thing is, it's like they cost, I don't know, a lot of a day. Then you have to fly them back. Then you have to feed them. And then that's just like the bare bones. Then they also probably, you have to do everything else. How has COVID affected your timeline adventure plans?
It makes it hard to plan, I feel like, just because it's like the Caribbean islands have reopened, but like they can reclose at any time. And I feel like we just spend a lot of time being like, if we were to get stuck here, what would it be like? You know?
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, you just have to be really flexible. And I think for us, like, the beauty is like, I don't know, we can work wherever. So like if we do get stuck somewhere, like we can probably figure it out. I think like if it was like different and we were like really skilled sailors right now, I think it would actually affect us more, because we'd be like, oh, we want to like go to the South Pacific. What happens if we get there? It's quarantined. We've already done a 20-day passage, and then they're like, go home.
Yeah.
Like that would be way worse. But for now, I feel like we're kind of just like we're taking it all day by day, while also trying to make sure that we're being like smart about our future, so that we know what our options are and know how to prepare for the ones that we want the best that we can. But I feel like it's also COVID just like makes all the COVID affects our day to day more than I feel like it affects our future planning. It's like I feel so weird that I'm like, I don't want to, like, if like these guys are nice and they offer to take us sailing, then I'm like scared. I'm like, I don't want to like give them COVID. You know, like I feel like that's how COVID is affecting us. Is I'm just like, I don't want to be like a vector and give it to all these nice people. That's like, I think honestly like the hardest thing right now is that like trying to make sure that we like stay like safe without even having running water on our boat to wash our hands as much as they say.
Yeah.
You know, we can't like it's just like we live in this weird alternative universe, you know.
Yeah.
Are you just reading comments again?
I am.
Why? You have to talk. So what are they saying?
Well, Wendy says being on the water is like a whole other world with its own culture. That's for sure. There's like a language.
It's crazy. And all these people have such intense Massachusetts accents. When you're listening on the radio, it's like, I can't even do it. But it's like, what are you guys speaking English? I'm like, what is it going on there? All the different fishermen yelling about fish on the radio, you know?
Yeah. An hour is up and Lou has finished talking.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
Well, we did our podcast yesterday, was it?
I know, and Lou's like, Dana, my throat hurts from talking. I'm like, oh, yours hurts from talking? I say so many words. I'm just kidding. I'm very proud of you. It's great practice for you.
Yeah, it is. I like it. It's fun.
Right?
Yeah.
It's basically just like what we are already doing normally, but like letting you guys like in on the like silly shenanigans of us just chilling. Because this is like what we are doing normally. And then I'm like, Lou, I don't want to have a conversation with myself. Come on, what are you thinking? And he's like, Dana, I don't have anything else to say. And that is like our dynamic, you know?
Yeah.
I really think your boat is lovely and a great choice. Are you both young and and you're both young and have time to enjoy it all? Yeah. Oh yeah. Did you make the grit rocks for merch?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, Lou made them all. I'm not wearing mine right now. I have no jewelry on. Oops.
Where did it go?
I don't know. It's I don't know. It's probably in my like side of my bed. There's like a little like shelf thing. It's probably hidden in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Lou, we have Grit Rocks. If you join the $75 tier, then we can message and we can figure out which Grit Rock to send you. We have ones from Portugal, I think, one from Spain.
I want to like sell them in the store at some point, but it's just like so much work to photograph. I have like, I think like 100 of them made.
Yeah.
But to like photograph and catalog them and box them all, we've kind of like.
Oh my gosh, we have the boxes. We have all of the Grit Rock things with us. We've trekked it through to the van.
Yeah.
Back to America. Probably back to the van.
Yeah.
Then to the boat. And we both, I also have a huge bag of like 12 spools of yarn for the knitting projects that I want to do. But it's very hard. We we have not enough hours in the day to do the things that we want. Like right now, I'm really like keen on making embroider the back of a jean jacket. I have to find the perfect jean jacket, and then I want to write on it, embroider in it like La Capitana, and then do the Wild Rome kind of like sticker, like kind of like this one on the back of it. And I was like, that would just be so awesome, and I could wear it and like all this stuff, and that'd be so cool. And yeah, then I'm like, do I really want to get all that yarn and put it in a bag and then not do the project? But I kind of want to do it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
We can do it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You don't mind? That's the beauty of the boat. We have so much space. Like, compared to Odie, like, that Grit Rock box in Odie, like, actually took up a lot of space. And here, it's like, meh. Like, we have a whole sewing machine on this boat. Like,
yeah.
For us, I feel like, for other people, going to a boat is, like, really, they have to work on downsizing. But for us, we're like, what else can we bring on this thing? Right?
Yeah. I have a lot of, like, camera stuff I want to downsize.
Yeah.
I have a lot of wires, but I'm actually really bad at downsizing.
Lou always, I have to tell him that he has to ask me before he downsizes. What were you going to downsize?
For some reason, every time I downsize like the one thing I really needed.
You were going to downsize something so silly recently. Oh, we just bought a cooler so that we could, like, you know, we went on somebody's boat recently. He took us out, and then we didn't have, like, a cooler to put snacks in and stuff, and then I felt like we need a cooler. And Lou, we get the cooler, and it has a shoulder strap. He's like, we don't need this. I can throw it away, right? I'm like, what are you doing? Like, that is this big. And it's like, it might be nice if you're walking a mile with a heavy cooler to have a shoulder strap on it.
Just trying to help keep the boat minimal.
Minimal. Yeah, well, I think I was like, why don't we try having the cooler for a year and then decide if we want to get rid of the shoulder strap?
Yeah, I like that.
But silly things like that. What else is going? Could we do a Zoom sometime? Yes, Julie, we can definitely do a Zoom sometime. I would love that. Wendy, the live stream is like having people over without having to clean up and prepare snacks for others. Oh my god, yes, it's so true. It's like, let's hang out, and then I'm like, I don't even have to like do anything. Just turn my computer on.
We don't even have snacks. We have like.
I know that. No, but Lou, look at all of this. We went to the grocery store today.
Oh, and you can see our.
Oh yeah, and that is our window cover that I need to turn into something much prettier.
Dana's gonna cover it with like the khaki colored cloth. And we bought suction cups so you can like suction it to the window, kind of like if you saw like the Iceland series, the like Mercedes van we had like window shades that have reflectix in them, and
which is that metal stuff.
Yeah.
Stop when you're talking, reading all this stuff. Oh my god. Keep talking. What are you saying?
You need to make them.
Yeah.
The issue is the sewing machine is in the back room, and the back room is so full of boxes.
Honestly, I'll take a picture and I'll put it up after this because it's so embarrassing.
I could tilt it.
No, don't do it now. Well, I'll post a picture of it after. It is so hectic in there. There is a generator. There is the radar. There is the... What other boxes are in there? all your stuff. It's all your stuff.
Yeah.
All these things to fix the bathroom, to fix the other stuff. What else do you have in there?
2 faucets, the radar, the bathroom thing. That's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
We got filled up real quick.
Yeah, we could get it all done in a week if you wanted.
A 1 week?
Uh-huh.
I would love to.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, that's distraction. Let's see what's going on. Why don't you be trendsetters and put indicators? That would be hilarious.
I feel like we're breaking enough rules with
everything that we do. It's like I'm like, I think we should take this buoy on this side. Lou's like, you have to be over here. I'm like, look at him. I'm like, we both know nothing about what we're talking about. You know, like it's not even worth like trying to do it. We just need to go back, talk to somebody who knows, and then we'll figure it out. You think sales and hiring captains is expensive? There's for sure a Patreon who has an embroidery machine and would love to do it for you. Wish I had one, but ask that person will appear. Oh, that's nice. That's true. Elizabeth does sewing projects.
That's cool.
Yeah, she's emailed me a bunch of photos of her cool stuff. We would love actually to redo our cushions in here. We have like so many big things that we want to do to like make it really feel like the way we want it. Because I feel like with Odie, like
it took until like the second year to really get it like super comfortable.
And even then, I feel like there were things that were like we would have done differently and all this stuff. And it's like it's hard when you do want the adventure. It's like you don't want to waste all your time just trying to like make it a perfect home because it's like really supposed to be an adventure. But I also am like I don't want to live in like limbo. I would rather get it the way I like. So it's like we have a hard time like balancing that, like, you know, don't you think?
Yeah.
We also see you later, Julie.
Bye, Julie.
We have all of the questions that we did not answer.
Want to go through them?
Yeah, we got to do that. Okay, guys, it is time to answer the other questions. Are you afraid of pirates?
Not really, no. We've heard like stories of a couple people getting attacked by pirates, but I think it's like very, very rare. And it seems like most of the time, I think what happens is these fishing companies send fishermen out to sea with no food, so they're forced to work really hard and catch fish. And if they don't catch fish, then they're starving, and they like try and find cruising boats to like get food from.
Yeah, so a lot of times if you like just throw cans of food over, they go away. But yeah, honestly, we haven't like thought about like pirates. We have so much to think about before we think about pirates. Are there things you were dreading but ended up being fun, nice, not that big of a problem? I think like so much for me. Like one thing that we were dreading that was really annoying was putting up the stern arch.
I dreaded that, and it was
dreadful.
It was dreadful.
But otherwise, I think the thing is, I feel like I'm gonna say this forever, but the van put everything in such intense perspective that like for me, I was like, oh my gosh, what if the bathroom explodes? Oh wait, that happened. And the thing is, it's like we can go to shore to go to the bathroom. We can go to shore to go to the bathroom. We can sleep in a different room. We are not like if you do a project, like you have so many other spaces. Yeah. You can leave chaos out and still go to bed. Like it's just things that I was dreading have turned out to be each thing. I was like, oh gosh, the engine's broken. And like that was really when we were on land, all of the problems were so frustrating because it was like a delay. But now that we're on the boat, I'm like, this is an amazing opportunity to learn. It's like, oh, there's sediment in our filter. How are we going to fix this? Because like at some point we will have to fix it. So every problem, I'm just like, this is just one more thing we understand of the boat. And I don't think I knew that was how it was going to be until we got here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah.
Curious about the process you've gone through to learn to sail the boat, because if I'm not mistaken, you guys don't know how to sail. That is true. So the process, to like run through it quickly, which I think we were talking about a bit before, is that I personally did not do a lot of research or learn anything because I kind of thought that David was going to do it and that Lou was really excited about it. So he was reading all these books. So I thought they were going to take care of it. And I was like, I want to learn how to play the ukulele. And then as we got in the water, I realized like, I feel like I kind of want to like start figuring this out more. And then when David left, I was like, wow, we really don't know anything. And I'm quite scared. I don't want to leave the mooring. How are we going to go? How are we going to pick it up? Like all this different stuff. And then when our friend Mike decided to take us out sailing in exchange for helping on his kickstarted my learning curve of just like, okay, this isn't as scary as it needs to, like as I had in my head. Like I had built it up into being more, but I do know I have so much to learn. And so now we're kind of like, I do a lot of research. This is also only a 5 day plan, so like everything's relative. But lately, it's been like I wake up and I start learning, like book learning or watching some YouTube videos or taking notes or practicing. And then we try to enact those things later in a sail or we're moving the boat. And we're doing a lot of like debriefing. I started our captain's log, so I've like been taking notes after every time we go out. I take notes on how it went, things that we could improve on, and I think like the main thing is just like working on our communication during the experiences so that we like communicate in a positive manner that both people are feeling empowered and excited. But it's like it is hard to like do that properly every time because like things are happening really fast, and then reading, studying, and then taking it slow.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think it's working.
Oh,
it's like
for
I
sure.
feel like every day we're learning so much, and like every time we go out, I feel like we're like 10 times better than the time before.
I mean, this time next week, I feel like we will be like, wow, let's go on a overnight.
Yeah.
Like I think we will be there. Like this week, we're gonna focus on learning how to anchor. So it's like once we know how to anchor successfully, then we can go somewhere and stay overnight and do our first night watch of the anchor. Like it's gonna like the learning curve is scary, but it's so steep if you because we get to do it like regularly. You know, like it's not like one Saturday a month we're going out and trying to learn this. Like we're
like,
living on it, we're breathing it. Anytime I'm like, I'm trying to be the friendliest version of myself that I have ever been. It's like if anybody is like, oh hello, it's like, oh hello, then I like try to talk to them, and it's like been so great. It's like we're making friends with every person around us that we meet, and then this way we can hopefully, the more people who are good sailors who come take us out, the more we'll learn.
Yeah.
So that's that. Are you planning on getting the captain's license? So we did talk about that. This is the one I was in Germany. There's different kinds of things. So yes, we talked about that earlier in the live stream. What's been your favorite thing about life on board? How does a typical day on the boat differ from a day on the van? This is for you.
I mean, I think my favorite thing is just being able to go swimming because I feel like that's like, and that's like that's I think the biggest difference with the van too is it's like we were in a lot of places in Odie that were so hot, and it was like the middle of the countryside, so it's like you couldn't go swimming or anything, and now it's like even on the really hot days in the boat, it's like there's nice wind on the water. We can come down here and there's no sun. Like we can like block out the windows and like it just feels like a lot like more manageable. I don't know. Like the living situation, it's like we have this area, we have the outside area we can sit, we have the two different like bedrooms.
The space is so nice.
Like the extra space is so nice, and like it's also like the way the space is. You know, it's like sitting outside right on the water with the wind is like incredible. You know, and I think it's a little bit more peaceful than it was in the van because in the van you were kind of always worried that like someone was going to come and kick you out because we were pretty much always wild camping illegally.
Yeah, that's true. And here it's like we just like we know we're allowed to be here.
Yeah.
We know we're safe.
Yeah.
We're not going to float away. It's very comfortable.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part of life aboard.
You like the kitchen a lot.
I love this kitchen so much. I just have, it's just so much space, and the burners are really strong, and I love that there's enough, like I can just do the dishes in seawater, which probably sounds gross, but I have unlimited seawater. I don't have to worry. I also just love, compared to the van, we had a gray water collection. So in the van, when you used water, it went down into a different tank, and you had to collect it, and then you had to dump that somewhere. Usually we dumped it like at campsites. Sometimes we dumped it just out in the woods or something like that. But that water was so gross and smelly because like Lou and I, you know, we eat a lot of chickpeas and stuff like that. Chickpea water is stinky. If you cook broccoli or something like that, that is stinky water. And then all of that is trapped. And then in there, especially apparently toothpaste makes stuff smell horrible. Remember that?
Yeah.
Toothpaste made the water smell horrible. And now the water, you know, you make pasta, you put the water in the sink, and it just goes out the drain, like into the ocean. And so that's phenomenal, not having to have gray water. Yeah. The water situation is just phenomenal.
It's the whole concept of water.
Yeah, all the water. Swimming, water for dishes, waterfront view. Share your thoughts on pros and cons of having a sea trial. Was it cost prohibitive? I'm a full-time RVer. This is from Suzanne, looking to migrate to the same path from life on the road to living on a boat. So I'm really appreciative of the content. Yeah,
So I
you can
think
run
the
through.
sea trial, I think it cost like $900 was the one we got. It can like vary a little bit. We ended up getting for this boat just the insurance version,
We
which
just did a survey. We didn't
which
do a sea trial.
yeah, we didn't do the actual sea trial. Um, I think like it can definitely help, and like the clear example is the first boat we almost bought. We hired a surveyor to do a full survey and sea trial, and I think that cost like $850. And he inspected the boat for a whole day. We took it out sailing on the water. They hauled it out, and like a week later, he sent us a summary of the survey, and there was like the stuff that the boat needed to be done, like the work required on the boat was like about $20,000, but the boat was also like $10,000 cheaper than all the other boats we were looking at. So it was kind of like with that information, I feel like we got to make a much better decision. We were like, we don't have the time or the money to try and fix up this boat, even though it's cheaper now. Like long term, it's going to be a lot more expensive.
I think, though, honestly, deep down, my biggest recommendation for buying a boat is to find a person that you actually trust to buy the boat from. Because
Yeah,
that's how we made this decision. It was like a totally, like, it's bad, but like an emotional gut decision of like, we looked at all of these boats and they were all the same make. And the one that was the most expensive that we kind of like were like, we don't want to go that far out of our price range, it was 40 grand is what we got this one for, but like we were looking at ones that we could have gotten for 32.
I mean the one we did the trial on,
We were going to get for 32.
I think even less.
No, 32.
Yeah.
100%. And he was like 32, but that's it. Like after the sea trial and all that stuff, not going to change if you find problems because it was already so much lower than he wanted. And then we started talking to the previous owner, and you could just tell he loved this boat. Like the engine was clean. Like he was a naval architect. He did so many of the repairs himself. Like he was going to be around. And so for me, it was kind of like, and it was the same with Odie for a completely different reason. It was like an emotional, like the woman that we bought it from was like, I just liked her vibe. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's not probably a technical way to choose something, but
I mean, there was a lot of research that went into it before
before
the
that,
emotional
yes,
part.
for both of them.
But I think especially with like something that's like gonna be like 40 or 50 years old, if you're buying something old, you need to know that like the person you're buying it from before took really good care
Yeah.
of it, and it's like that's kind of just based on trust because it's like you can look at stuff and like it can look fine, but like under the surface everything could be broken. And I think that's like especially true with boats. It's like if there's been leaks coming in and like half of the wood is rotting inside, like you won't see that right
Yeah.
away. And that's the kind of thing that a surveyor would pick up on
And
quite
you
quickly.
can do that's what we did. It was like we did a survey but not a sea trial. And I feel like that's like I don't know. I think that that is enough for us. Like we
Mm-hmm.
felt comfortable with that. Um and I think a lot of people buy their boats without a sea trial. You just have to be like trust the person to be like this boat floats, right? Like the engine works, right? Because we didn't even run the engine, did we? Or did we?
I think we did.
No, we did, and then it
Yeah.
was like a lot of smoke, which is because probably the wires were melting.
Yeah.
But we didn't like. They were like, "Oh, the smoke is normal. It's the first time to run after a winter or whatever."
Yeah.
Or we didn't because of the winterization. I thought.
Yeah, maybe not. We just knew. It was also the
I don't
only.
know. It was kind of also our only option. I think it's getting kind of dark. Should we open that one? Or whatever. We can. Why don't you turn a light on? There we go. Okay, so we have a few more. Oh, we did the high school advice one. Do you have self-sufficient income through blogging, YouTube, Patreon? If so, how long did it take to achieve that, and any advice to share for those who are aspiring to do the same? Um, yes, right now we can take care of ourselves. For the first few years, we really needed the fact that we didn't have to pay rent in Berlin.
And like even while we were in the van, I feel like we couldn't have afforded to live in the van.
No, that was like why we chose a very cheap lifestyle was because
Like we definitely weren't earning enough money to live in like a city.
I don't think we could have. I mean, we could have lived in Berlin,
In Berlin, yeah.
because you can find like places for like under $1,000 a month in rent. But like when we left New York, our rent was like what $1,900 a month for a place smaller than this boat, and we knew like if we were going to try something creative, that we needed to have like a barrier, like a buffer area. And so Lou's parents were really generous and they let us live in Berlin without rent, and we lived there for 3 years, three
Hmm.
years without rent, and that helped so much. Um, and my parents helped us get the first camera, and the beginning is really hard. I would say like if you're gonna try to do this, do it with a side hustle first. And
I think that would make it like I feel like that's what we always. It would make it so much less stressful if you kept like a part-time job
yeah,
for the first like 2 to 3 years,
yeah.
and then
And then once you feel like there's momentum happening, especially for us, because like I just don't think we did it the right way because it was so stressful. Because we were like, this needs to work, this needs to work. Like we don't like this is our plan, and like thank God that we somehow made that shoot film video,
yeah,
because that shoot film video somehow took off and we had no plans. We knew nothing about marketing, all this stuff. And then that's how Squarespace found us. And that sponsorship really carried us through. We did a big project for them that helped pay for the majority of the van build whole situation.
yeah.
We also like, we were kind of like crafty of like we didn't have a wedding, and then this way when people gave us presents for the wedding, we were like just give us money, which is kind of a weird thing to say, but it's like we wanted money for the van. um, but it took a long time. But now I'd say we were like really doing our own finances successfully from our job like 4 years in, once we were in the van, like, right, wasn't that 4 years in
Yeah.
the took us to get in the van, or no,
It's
no, 3 years, I think 3 years, because we've been working with Squarespace for 3 years.
yeah. Once we got Squarespace, we were like breaking even, and then I think in the second year of van life, we were like actually
Yeah.
earning money.
And then yeah, the second year of van life is when we did the book, and the ebook helped so much, like so much. Like we wouldn't be able to do this. Like,
Yeah.
and then now the Patreon is helping so much. Like we're so grateful for it, and it's been such an amazing like turn of events. And like now we have a couple of different streams of income. We have the YouTube ad revenue, which like the viral videos, like that water fast video and the KonMari video, still like help kick in a few $100 from that. Then we have like our sponsorship opportunities. We have the Patreon. We have the Live Creatively sales. Like when new people find us, like the book is still selling, which is awesome. Um, and then we have like little like trickle things like the Epidemic Sound. Like people can like we have like a few different affiliate links that like sometimes like give us $100 here or there. But like the main things are like sponsorship, YouTube ad revenue. Um, we're rocking. Um, the ebook sales, and it's like, yeah, it's a rough go of it to figure out how to do this. But I would just say you need to build the community. That's the only way to make it as an online creative, is to have a community, because people don't want to sponsor you if you don't have that audience.
Yeah.
So it's like you need that like runway time to like figure out your voice, figure out what you want to say, figure out who your people are, and like connect with the people that you want to connect with.
And that just takes time.
It just takes time, and it's like the beauty of doing it as a side hustle is like you can determine if like this is your passion, if this is what you want to show up with. Like Lou was editing every single day for years before people were really showing up for us, and you like just kept going.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but he did, and I'm very grateful for that. Really, I am.
There's a really cool comment at the bottom. We should pause our question.
Okay.
Vanessa Thomas got married in the same room by the same lady.
No!
Yeah.
Wasn't that the best? Yeah, for those of you who haven't seen our wedding video, go watch it. It's so adorable. We got married at in New York City Town Hall. And wasn't it just the most amazing experience, Vanessa? I bet you, we literally, there was a gay couple from England ahead of us in line, and they were just like, we need somebody to officiate our wedding. So I went in with them, married those two guys, then came out and walked right back in the room and did our own wedding, which was just it was so cool. And there's all different types of weddings all happening at once, and like all these different like ladies in white dresses of all sorts, like full on ball gowns to like white pantsuits and all sorts of stuff. And it was like so our vibe.
Yeah, it was cool.
And it's so weird, like we literally like made the decision of like, oh wow, I really need a visa, to getting married in 2 weeks, and just like pulled that all together, and it was exactly like it couldn't have been better. um what is going on? I've been listening to Swell after you hearing rave about it. Would you ever have friends and family come aboard for periods of time like Liz does? Right now, I think we're really happy, the two of us. But who knows? The future could be any combination of things. Like, it's so cool to share this kind of lifestyle with people. So I'm sure at different points people will come. Like, we've already had a bunch of friends and family come visit the boat for a day, and they've all been like so supportive and really excited for the adventure. So I'm sure if we're like in French Polynesia, like my best girlfriends from high school, I'm sure will come out. But like, I don't know, for Liz, like we'll do like 6 months or something with someone. And the thing is, it's like she's solo sailing, so like she needs to have somebody with her, and like we have each other.
Yeah.
So it's like a little bit different of a setup, but it's still so cool. And yeah, I don't know. I would never say no or yes. We'll just have to see what happens. Um, that's how I bought my RV 8 years ago, and it was the best decision. Trust the gut, right? I totally agree. And Alex says, optics bought the van family member, so I didn't get the gut check. Yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah.
Brutal. I'm sorry that you had that experience.
Cars are tricky, I feel like.
And like, yeah, it's hard when you like don't have your like sharp vision on, because it's like, friends or family, and you like aren't thinking. And then yeah, I think the most reliable way to purchase most things, your intuition is most advanced as any checklist. Trust in people who are experts from the gut. I totally agree. It's like, do all the prep, like you researched the van so intensely, and then it was like, this is the exact type of van I want. And then we saw 3 of them or 4 of them. It's like,
Yeah.
one of them had, or 2 of them had the papers we needed.
And this was the only one.
And then it was like, okay, process of elimination. Those people are really nice. We're going for it. They knew something was off about something, but were afraid to act. I'm a big fan of trusting yourself and going with what feels right, Shelly. I totally agree. I'm actually reading this book about self-compassion, and he's like don't make decisions out of fear. And I think a lot of us make decisions out of fear, whether we're scared for ourselves or scared like we're gonna hurt somebody, or like, you already saw the boat and you already told them you liked it, and now you're like, oh man, I don't know if like how I feel weird about it, but I already told them I like this boat. Maybe I should just buy it. And it's like, you have to make decisions out of like love and trust in yourself, because when you make them out of fear, you can just end up with so much regrets. And yeah, that's hard to do.
That's what we did with the boat, I feel like, because like we drove all the way out there 2 times. We paid like $1,000.
Yeah,
basically.
But more than that, because we had to stay hotel rooms.
Yeah.
In Baltimore, and all the gas.
After all of that, we were like, I don't think this is the right boat, and like all of that. I mean, you end up saving money in the long term, but it's hard to walk away really once you've already like.
What do they call that?
It's called sunk cost principle.
Yeah, sunk cost principle. You've already invested all this time and energy and money, and then you're like, actually, I'm not gonna do it. And then I felt bad for the boat agent. I felt bad for the guy who owned the boat. Like, they had already gotten there. He told us like somebody almost bought this boat. He already had gotten through the rigmarole of like showing it, putting it in the water in the middle of the winter, and then we were just like, it's not our boat. And yeah, I think that's hard. I watched the video the other day and I was like, oh my god, it's a great experience, such a good people watching. I totally agree. I wish I could like go just sit in there. This is back to the wedding place, and just do urban sketching, because that would be like the coolest place. Beverly says, I have to go. Safe travels. Enjoy sleeping on the boat and listening to the night sounds on the water. So much fun. Oh, I'm so glad you were here, Beverly. Thank you so much for joining. Hadley's a college senior. Did you have any favorite college courses you took? Trying to build the best schedule for my last couple of semesters and would love to hear your advice. I wish that I had taken art classes. I don't know if you're at a liberal arts school, but like, go for it and take something like wild, like take something out of your major that's like something that you could just like. One of my favorite classes I took was a Greek mythology class, and it was just like so cool. And then I'm like, why didn't I just like stick in that area? Like, I don't know. That's I think like, you want to find professors who are like passionate. So see if you can talk to other people. Like, is there like a government class that seems super interesting, or like, I don't know. That was mine. I think mine was a Greek mythology class. It was like shockingly interesting.
Hmm. I took a like
Lou is
live.
also far more studious than me. Let's just clarify. I'm not the best. I was not the best student. I just like winged it a lot.
Yeah,
I'm getting better though. I've learned about internal motivation.
yeah, it's true. I took a live drawing class. That was really cool.
Really?
Mhm.
What about all your English classes?
I
Or
took
your
a.
Spanish literature classes?
They were cool. I took a Virginia Woolf course at NYU. That was like really, really intense. That was fun. Um,
What about writing your thesis? I wonder, are you going to do a thesis, Hadley? I didn't do one, but I feel like Live Creatively was my thesis. Don't you think?
yeah,
But it's so cool. It's so interesting. I wonder, like, for you, for COVID, it's like brutal, I bet, to have to deal with that as a college senior. But I would say, like, just try to take advantage of the things that, like, you feel like you're not gonna, like, that a professor could really help, like,
and I
you
feel
learn.
like professors are more important than like courses.
I agree.
So, but it's I guess
It's
you.
hard to know, though. And it's like,
Yeah,
who's gonna do well as a virtual professor? So you can't play, like, it's not
yeah.
necessary that somebody who's, like, a good
I
professor.
think it
Do
is.
you think so?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I would say that, like, find something that you are just like feel like gut instinct that you're passionate about, and then explore that, and potentially explore something outside of your major would be cool. Um, and art, I would do that. Any wishes, dreams, or plans on where to travel with Penelope? Have you thought about composting toilet instead of a marine head?
We were actually just looking into this the other day.
Somebody wrote us who actually sells them and wanted to give us one, and we were like, no, thank you. Actually, I have to write to them and say no, thank you, because composting toilets are kind of like a gimmick, in my opinion, on boats, because
In order for a composting toilet to work, you have to have a yard where you can compost the toilet.
yeah, it's like all you're doing is put a bucket and you put mulch, like whether it's like sawdust or whatever, 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 and then you put human number twos in a bucket with the sawdust. You stir it around with a cranker thing, and now you have a bucket full of poop. Now
And
what?
then,
And then you have to dispose of it, and it's like they don't go into that part on a lot of these composting toilets. So I'm like, so now you're just dumping that bucket over the ocean, or you put it in a holding tank where we are, and then the people come and pump it out. Or if we were in the ocean, you'd just like go to the bathroom and you would have an open valve and it would go right out the boat. So I'm like, that's just an instant composting toilet, and you don't have to deal with the bucket situation.
yeah, I think composting toilets are really awesome if you have a house and a yard where you can do it. But I think in every other situation, it doesn't really make too much. Or like an off-grid cabin works where you could like bring it back to a different place. But I think like if the end scenario is you putting it in the trash bag and then putting it in a dumpster,
Which is what we did the whole van life experience.
that doesn't really like that's not
You're just making
composting.
trash.
That's not composting.
It's like really gross. It works. It's the best option in the van for sure.
Yeah.
We didn't want to have a chemical toilet and have to dump, because then you're kind of like relying on campsites. Um, but yeah, for the boat, that's not what we're interested in. But maybe for other people, I'm sure it works, because like for other people, like for example, the people who wrote to us, like they created this thing because they lived on a boat and there was no pump out service.
Yeah.
And so it's like if you're living like in a harbor or something like that, there's no pump out service and you can't dump
Yeah.
your waste. What are you supposed to do? So you do have to get creative. But for us, like it does work. Our solution, like that, we have people we can call and they just come on the radio, and
it's like you pay for it for the season and you have to like you're required to pay this like harbor fee.
yeah, and we
So
already
it's like-
paid it, so they can come. We can call them for a pump out any
And-
single day,
and
and we
it's
don't even.
free
Yeah, it's
once-
free. Well,
yeah.
it's like
You
prepaid. Yeah.
but it's like free for as many times as you want, you know.
Yeah, and so we do it like kind of like what, every 8 to 10 days.
Yeah.
And it's so easy. They just come, they unscrew a thing, they plug it in, and I'm like, wow, much better. Also, dreams of where you want to go.
My dream is the South Pacific.
Mine too.
That's
How happy are you with your off-grid energy system? Asking for Celeste.
I think the system is amazing. The rigid panels that I think that video
She
has.
is starting phase 1 of van life and wants to know.
Oh, cool.
She has always been scared of the moment when a deadline for a job is coming up and she wouldn't have enough energy to charge her laptop, work equipment. Has this ever happened to you? And do you know this fear?
I do know that fear. I had it the other night when I was finishing in a video, and the video was like almost done, and the batteries were at I think like 65%, and I was just rushing like crazy.
Which 65% sounds like you still have a lot.
But you don't.
You don't. You really don't want to drain them much past 60, even really.
Yeah.
Because they don't recover. So, we have lithium, so they're supposed to recover, but it's just not good battery maintenance for your batteries.
Yeah. But I think in the van, whenever like that kind of situation happened, we would just go to a campsite and plug in for a couple of days. Oh, nice.
Ha. Yeah, you should, if you're gonna make a setup, you want to make a setup that you can plug in to electrical shore power equivalent.
Yeah.
In a van, especially because it's so easy to go to a campsite. You just drive there.
Yeah, I think Victron makes this battery charger, and you can just plug that directly into like a normal outlet and then connect it to your batteries, and it will safely charge them all. And it has it for like lead or lithium. It can do all of them. And that's like
that's
nice.
How we survived.
Yeah,
in the
that's
van.
Nice because then you don't have to do shore power, which is kind of like a more complicated
electrical
system.
Yeah, that thing was great.
Yeah.
That Victron, what was it called?
Smart battery charger.
Yeah, and we would just plug that in and then put it into...
It even has a phone app, so it's really easy.
Yeah, that was amazing. We only got that second year, right? Or end of the first year in the van, and we were really in like when during Inktober we were like really struggling because it was like a week straight of rain and clouds, and we didn't have enough like battery power to deal with stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you definitely, Lou knows that fear for sure. Do you have a good mattress to sleep on? I hope Lou is feeling okay with all the contortionist-like maneuvers required to fix the boat. Stay safe. Thank you, Annie.
I think that's like actually one of the projects we want to work on is redoing all of the mattresses and like the couch.
Yeah.
In the boat, because
it's just like not exactly how we like it, and we're kind of particular about that, especially with Lou's back. But it's such a big project that
these ones are like actually pretty comfortable, so it's not like I'm not in any pain or anything from the sleeping situation. It's more just like long term. It'd be nice for it to be like perfect.
And I feel like I'm not even sleeping because when we moved to my parents' house this year for like the however many months we were there, we ended up switching the mattress there, so we got to have the same one that we had in the van.
That's like the most awesome thing I think about discovering that mattress is it's from IKEA, and I think it's like $120 depending on what size you get. And all you need is like that mattress and plywood.
And we're happy. Like, no joke, we got one for Lou's house too in New Hampshire, because then when we were going to either place, we were like, we felt safe and secure and like could really get a good night's sleep. And it's like for anybody else, they would go on the bed and be like, what the heck? It's like so hard. It's like sleeping basically on the floor with a little bit of cushion, but that's what we like. And these are like too squishy. Now even for me, I've gotten to be like a snob about how we like to sleep on this really hard thin mattress.
Yeah.
So I want to switch it too. It's just the projects that we want to prioritize there's so many things before it.
And I really wanted to try these ones and make sure that like it would make sense to go with like a more firm mattress, just because I thought like maybe on a boat with the movement you might want it to be like a little squishier.
Yeah.
You know?
It's something to think about.
But I think I like the old mattress.
Yeah. What else is going on? College senior about
our art class thing is like not the best COVID recommendation.
Yeah, well maybe that's sad. Hopefully in the spring. I'm not writing a thesis because I'm a computer science major. That's so cool. That's actually what David is really interested in now. He's like looking into data science and is like getting really into it and learning like coding and different things like that. So it's like such a useful thing. I feel like you can get a job so easy, and computer science is like the future. But I feel like if that's what you're really interested in, like maybe get like some sort of like balance, like I don't know, like a psychology class could be really interesting, or I would do one that's like not so time consuming.
Debate.
Like public speaking or something.
Yeah.
I never took that.
I think the debating class would be great.
I don't think they offered that where I went. Yeah, debate class now. In high school, maybe there's debate.
There's debate classes.
In college? Maybe. Wow. We just chatted with you guys for an hour and 43 minutes. How many people are even still here? Probably no one we're talking to. Oh, there's still 20 people here. Hey, guys. Yeah, what if we're just like talking to no one? Wouldn't be the first time. That probably wraps it up for today. That was really fun.
That was cool, right?
Yeah, I feel like
I
that
feel
had
like we like covered so many topics.
I know, we had good energy on this one. It's because we took today like chill. We just went grocery shopping.
That was an errand day.
An errand day. Frontline medical worker here. Thank you for your content. Seeing your journey is such a fun stress relief after caring for patients. Oh, Jenny, thank you so much for saying that. That's really nice of you, and I'm happy that we could create content that can like bring peace and joy into your day, and that's like really all we're trying to do, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we love you guys. This is so nice. And Lauren says, I graduated computer science. Definitely needed my non-science classes to balance it out. Yeah, I feel like just find stuff that like we're all about the balancing of the things, you know?
Yeah.
Super technical sometimes and then super creative sometimes and then how they flow together and all of that. My phone is dying, lol. I really enjoyed this. Thanks so much, Crystal. Thank you so much, Crystal. Thank you so much to everybody for showing up for us and always supporting our creative dreams. It's like really crazy and you blow our minds with like the support.
Yeah, it's really amazing.
And yeah, I guess we will see you next month for the next live stream. It was so nice to hang out. So I guess I just click stop streaming now. Bye, guys.